Hey guys, it's Natalie here, Not United TV, episode 22 of the MU Women podcast. Been going for 22 weeks, even though there's been not a lot of those weeks have had football. It's been locked down, but it looks like it's loosening now, which is really good. But still, guys, keep washing your hands, keep, social distancing, all that kind of stuff, because the more you do it, the quicker we'll be back hopefully watching football all together. I'm here with Jake. You might recognise him. He does a lot of video. He does a lot. He's always about at LSV. Anyway, Jake, how you doing?
I'm okay, yeah. Obviously, as everyone else says, missing the football. But the announcement of the Premier League coming back today is something to sort of lift our spirits a bit and give us hope that next season we'll all be there supporting the girls once again.
Yeah, definitely. How have you been keeping though during this time? Just sort of building it up, because this is the first time on the podcast. So how have you been doing?
I've been all right. Still working away. Obviously
Really?
missing all you guys, but of course we do. I've been doing some other podcasts. We do our Sunday social, don't we, as well?
Yeah.
I've been around still.
Good. And everyone's in. How you, Evan? You all right? How you, John Foster, Gary, Deborah? You all right? So obviously, Jake, you joined the Bar Miami last season. You've been on a few away games, Everton ones, and you know, what's your thoughts on the Bar Miami? I just want to start off as this is first. What's your thoughts when it all was kicking off last year, when it all started to build, and then now where it is?
Yeah, well, I used to. Well, in the early days, I used to just sit like wherever in the stadium. Like I'd sometimes sit on the west stand, sometimes I go and sit behind the goal. And I think it was Spurs that I really started noticing like a good group, a good like 15, 20 of you on the back row, all singing and chanting. I thought I need to be up there next game. So I think it was Millwall that I went up there and stood with you, and that was the first time I sort of got speaking to you all. And it just went from there, really. I went from one of the quiet ones who just sat and clapped to one of you, one of the mad people who don't shut up all game.
Yeah, but like you said, you just came and joined, and it wasn't any sort of feeling about it. It was just, oh, hiya, you all right?
Exactly. It's not like an exclusive group in the terms of we don't let other people in. We of course we always welcome others to come and join in, sing along wherever they are in the stadium.
Good. And Jay, joining in Social Sunday. If you just message us on the Twitter or Instagram, anything, me, anyone of the Barmy Army, just message and they'll send you the link across. It's on Skype on Sunday at 2:00. So it is fun. Sometimes 10 of us we're all just chatting, but it's not always about football, is it, Jake? It's just about
we cover every topic. I mean, the topics we covered on the stuff we go into is it's random. It really is. And we sit there chatting about the most random rubbish for hours. A load of fun.
But I think with this lockdown, it's just good to talk to everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And of course, because we can't meet up in person, it's good to still stay in touch and just talk really casually.
Yeah. So Jake, on to the football, even though it's not on. The WSL was cancelled this week on the Monday, when obviously we were expecting that news. But obviously when it came through, and then Casey's made statements, she's even done a little video recently with Sully from MUTV. What was your thought of when you first heard it?
Yeah. As you said, we expected it. It was coming. We all knew it was coming. It was a case of when rather than if. And this is a bit of a controversial opinion, but I'm actually happy it was ended because look, are we going to put loads of financial strain on all the teams to keep paying the players and then get ready for this comeback that they didn't even really have a date in mind for? And also from a slightly selfish point of view. The fans as well. I would much rather wait and go back to the games and have to watch them on TV behind closed doors. I don't really think that would be as fun, to say the least.
No, I agree. And yeah, Jay, more merrier. Get involved. Follow us. Get involved. I'm the same, Jake. For me, it wasn't football. Even this Premier League back, I'm happy when I see pictures of like the boys and they've done a little social distance selfie, and it's
it
makes me feel happy. But football is about the fans, and I think really as well with our socials and what Barmy Army are doing, it's made it feel a lot more community, and we're still having fun on the weekend with each other. Yes, via social media, but it's making me feel that's what I miss. I miss seeing you all. I miss rocking up at LSV. I miss hanging the flags up. The game is just. I miss seeing the players running out and waving up, and that's what I miss. The
Yeah,
game, the kicking the ball is just the bit in the middle kind of thing. It's
I
more
know.
everyone associated with it.
Yeah, it's a good point as well. I've watched the Bundesliga since it came back, and you're right. It's not just the fans missing; it's a real element of the game missing.
Mm.
It's hard to put your finger on it, but it's just I should say it's not quite football.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of people are now saying it on social. Oh, it's quiet. Oh, it's this. Or doesn't feel the same. Whereas I think that's why the Barmy Army maybe are doing quite well because, and people want to join and start singing. And I'm not sure if you saw the video that Casey said, but she said she's missing hearing us singing the songs for the players
Yeah.
because that, the songs. That's what she's missing. Yeah, she's missing being on the grass. Yeah, she's missing the match day. But she also said, and that was without prompt, I'm missing hearing the fans singing.
And it just shows like the impact we have for the players, to the manager, and even to as well to like the media and everything. Because let's not forget, the Barmy Army have had a lot of media coverage and a lot of attention. We've turned a lot of heads since we've been promoted to WSL, and for good and bad reasons. But we're all we're doing it for positive reasons, and the girls and our opponents, everyone who comes near us knows what we're there for. They know what we're about. We bring the atmosphere, and I think bit by bit we are changing the WSL and the way the women's teams are supported.
Yeah, but that for me, that is football. That is, community, but properly getting behind the girls, that support that they deserve and need and want. And I think, like you say, the media is starting to pick up. I mean, we were going last year, but obviously we're in the championship. But I think the WSL has got a lot more attention. So, like you say, the media are picking up. As soon as the very first game, they were like, "Wow, this is amazing." I mean, the first game at Lee that got a lot of attention, and it's just things that we were doing in the championship. Now doing it in the WSL against Arsenal, it's a big, massive deal. That's what I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
understand. I
yeah.
thought,
Well, that first game you mentioned in the WSL at home was the Arsenal game on the Monday night, and ultimately we lost it. But it came back on. It was broadcast again on BT Sports, all the highlights last weekend. And honestly, you could hear us all the way through. And I just thought, number one, I really miss it. Number two, the impact is just so clear to see. If you could hear it on TV as well, over the commentators, it says a lot.
Yeah. I mean, that was about 2,000, bit over 2,000 on a Monday night.
Yeah.
So people care, mate. People came out for that game big time. And I know like two big teams are going to come out, but, people care. Arsenal fans travelled as well. That you could hear a bit of them. I remember hearing a bit of them. But, that's what we want. Like, Barmy Army are part of the FSA. We're trying to grow this thing and, get more supporters clubs, get more people traveling to games like what we do, which is good. So, long may it continue. And like I said, it's off now because you sort of said we can't afford to put it in. It's not like Man United can't afford to pay us. It's other teams, and you're seeing Reading are furloughed now, Birmingham are furloughed. I'd rather the girls get paid than teams having to worry about paying for testing equipment. What's your thoughts on that?
I just don't think it was viable in any way for any teams. And obviously say, look, us, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, the big names, we have the money, we can put it into the women's team, but the WSL is not filled up with big names, as you've mentioned, Reading, Birmingham, they're not in ideal situations. So I think it's best so the damage is limited financially. Obviously, the fans will be really up for it from all teams when the football comes back. I think it'll be a good path to a boost of attendances next season. I really hope to see we get about 2,000 at LSB at the moment. I'm hoping to see a few more, maybe up to 4,000 a game. That's being ambitious. But also other teams, Everton, the Brightons that struggle to hit even 1,000. I'd love to see them hitting four figures a lot more. And I hope this long break makes everyone miss it a little bit more and really gears everyone up when the season comes back. When the new season starts, I should say.
I think so, definitely. I mean, this weekend we're seeing the return of I can't even say it, the women's Bundesliga, the Freud, I don't even know.
I don't know how to say it either.
Hiya, John, you're right. But I've seen a return of that. And what's happened there is the Champions League, so the men's Champions League team, so your Wolfsburgs, your Bayern Munichs, etc., are gonna pay for the whole league to be tested, the whole women's league.
Right.
So when they've got little smaller teams, say like your Bristol and your Brighton or whatever, the big teams, Munich and all that, are paying. What would you think of, United, Arsenal, City, Chelsea paying for the whole league? Would that be something that you think they should do? Or, I mean, I know it's over now and I know we can't change it, but do you think they should have done that?
I don't think it's their responsibility to do it, because obviously they're only in charge of their own clubs and they shouldn't worry about a team hundreds of miles down the country really does. But that's a very selfish view, of course. Morally, maybe they should have done it and kept it going. But again, the responsibility isn't all on them. So I think they've come to the right decision for now, just to end it. But look, we can always talk about what ifs and if this club had helped or if this club had done something. But that's just how it is sometimes. In football, everything happens for a reason, I believe, and this is just one of them.
One of them reasons, Jake, yeah. Obviously, now the big talk is what's going to happen, sporting outcomes, sporting decisions. And I mean, the quote that the FA put out said sporting decisions for the Champions League. So for me, that means they're going to decide on 1 and 2. They've not said anything about promotion, relegation, not said anything about the Championship. I think we sort of know there's not going to be relegation from the Championship. What do you think should happen in terms of the whole league and the Championship? Should there be promotion? Should there be relegation?
Well, yes, I really think so. I'm not just saying that because Liverpool are bottom. I think to complete a season and not just void it, because we got over halfway through the season and it was a thrilling season as well. The girls from all teams have put hard work in, and I feel like it should come to some sort of conclusion. Because yes, you'll have some teams that say, "Oh, we haven't played this and we had this many games to play," but we're all in the same boat. We've all unfortunately had to end the season early. And I think it's got to be done on sporting merit now, or whatever the term is that they use. Because look, Liverpool, let me just talk about the form a second. It wasn't really improving. The last match they played, which was West Ham away, they were 4-0 down in that one, and Rachel Furness popped up with 2 late goals. They weren't going to come back. They weren't going to overtake Birmingham or Bristol, in my opinion. And then looking at the other table, the Championship table, you had Villa, who were about 6 points ahead of Sheffield, and it didn't look like they were going to be caught at all. So, look, I feel like it'd be very unfair for Villa to have a full season in the Championship. They've clearly developed the team a lot from where they were last season when we played them and thrashed them twice. But I feel like if Villa are promoted, which I don't think is going to happen, but I would love to happen, they can compete next season in the WSL like Spurs did.
Definitely. Just want to shout out John Neal, who's just saying he'd love Man United to have their own ground one day, and so I think we all would, wouldn't we, Jake? A little academy stadium across the road from Old Trafford. For us, that's the dream.
Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah. Now I'm someone who really enjoys Leigh Sports Village at the moment because of the identity it has, the fact that no other football teams that I know of use it, and the fact it's all red and we have the United signs and whatever. But look, to have our own little academy stadium, that would be, I think that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah. I've got Gary here sort of saying this, and I heard Sue Smith said she thinks it's going to be voided on the Sky Sports channel, but Carla Ward from Sheffield said exactly the same thing. It's wrong. It's wrong that you can promote someone and, sort of crown of champions but not promote. It's crown of champions but not relegate. For me, it is all the way down the league. You've got to apply that points for a game. Obviously, I don't know if you heard Graham Souness. A lot of people are saying it now. John's saying it. Can't see Liverpool being relegated. Liverpool are bottom for a reason. They would be there for the rest of the season, and I agree. I think sort of, I know where Jay sort of said it's not their responsibility, but it's like what you just said. the whole league should be applied, and it's unfair on Villa, who have done all that. And I know that Villa were putting in, they were 6 points ahead. There were 6 games, they were difficult games, but I think they would have won it. And I don't think there'll be any sort of, Sheffield won't sort of challenge it. It's not like, they were touching distance 1 point away, unlike at the top of the WSL. But I think, Jay sort of mentioned one thing here, send them both up, but no relegation, extend the league. What do you think about that point?
That's an interesting point, actually. And there's a positive and a negative to that. So the positive is the WSL gets expanded to 14 teams, so more games, a little bit more competitiveness, I'd say, because honestly, Villa and Sheffield are quite decent teams. I think they'd have some good battles against some of the lower WSL teams, definitely. But then look at the flip side of that. What have you got left in the Championship? You're down to 9 teams, and I hate to say it, but none of them are very good, with the exception of maybe Durham. If those two join in WSL, which I think they will do in time, you've not got much to come up next season. And then it could just be a case of yo-yo, Durham come up and then maybe Durham go down. And it's hard to predict the future in terms of how the Championship would look without its current structure. But that's just what I think would happen if we brought them both up.
Yeah, I know Leicester are going full time, and they've obviously got our ex-player Charlie Devlin. They've got Ella Rutherford, but it'd probably just be them run riot in the league, and then sort of everyone else just scrapping around. Which like you say, Championship is a very good league this season. I don't think potentially not promoting both of them does leave you a bit of a void. But I do know that even though they've voided Tier 3, they have opened up sort of licenses. So on whether Watford have already applied and they just accept whoever they think is the best candidate to sort of boost up that league. People are saying Liverpool need to go down, and I don't know if you saw it, if you've heard it, but I think a lot of people did hear it. What Graham Souness said, and I'm sure he's not a massive advocate of the women's game. He's just been brought in to ask, but he sort of said Liverpool's needed if you're going to boost the game, kind of thing, and in an arrogant kind of way. Which Casey said the same thing. It's not just Souness saying it, trying to defend Liverpool, but for me, I think a Liverpool team that doesn't support their women's team doesn't do anyone any favors. A Liverpool that people are just going to brush aside. Sheffield and Villa battered them. And this is Liverpool, champions of Europe. They're about to win the Premier League, and their women's team are just getting battered by part-time teams. It's not really a good advert. What's your thoughts though? On what he sort of said, if you heard it?
But I agree. I've not heard it, but we can sort of get the gist from what you've just said. And look, people will say, "Oh yeah, Liverpool's a big name. We need them for the rivalry." And yes, it's a rivalry, but let's be honest, it's a bit one-sided because for example, let's go back to when we played them at LSV. It was us, and I don't remember seeing that many Liverpool fans that travelled up, and it's only a short distance away. But here's the thing: Liverpool are a big name, yes, but the women's team, you're absolutely right. They've done a lot less work, and the club have supported them a lot less than most of the Championship teams. So it's simple; they just don't deserve a place. Why should a men's team status affect the women's position? Because in that case, we can get rid of Reading, we can get rid of Bristol. It's two very different leagues.
No, I 100% agree with you. I do see where, say, Casey said, our largest attendance, but in the league was against Liverpool. Yeah, we hadn't played City in the league, but the big crowds came for Man United, Liverpool. Even teams we played. I know it was when we played City that it was Liverpool men the day after, but people came out to watch Man United Liverpool, the very first Manchester United Liverpool game. And I mean, you can still have those games, potentially put Liverpool in the Conti with Man United and Everton. Bob, you've got that and a few more championship teams or another WSL teams. Hi everyone who's joining. We're just talking about what we're expecting and what we think will happen. I'm sort of the opinion that yes, they won't relegate Liverpool. No matter, we want them to relegate them, yeah, because we'll laugh and it'll be a good, stick it to them. But I can see it sort of a bit from the point of it is going to attract names, but it's not attracting them at their own ground. Even I mean, if when we would rock up, I can imagine us all rocking up to watch our girls play away to Liverpool. But how many Liverpool fans would turn up to watch Man United at their home ground? Because it's not in Liverpool, it's in Tranmere, it's over the bridge, it's far away. So are they really going to come out and support? And when they're not putting that money in, and investment and promotion of their women's team, a team like Villa who are promoting it, who are pushing that one club mentality, for me, you'd rather have that team.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to bring Reading in as well. I know it's slightly unrelated, but I've seen some news today that Reading women will be moving to the Majeski for next season, so they won't be playing anymore in I think it's Wickham's ground they're playing. And I think that's good because obviously you're not going to fill the stadium, but you're giving the girls more of a chance of better crowds. And okay, I'm not saying for Liverpool to move the women to Anfield, but putting them in Tranmere, which the pitch. We've all talked about the pitch, and we've all seen how many games have been cancelled and been affected by that pitch. It's simply not good enough. And the fans don't travel. There's empty stands all around when you play. It's not good to see. It's not a good advert for the women's game, and a big name like Liverpool should be doing more.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like you just said, Reading, they put them in the thing, and I think we even saw it with Everton. The minute Everton moved down the road, bang, 2,000 seats sold. I mean, yes, it was against Man United, but I think there was a large proportion of Everton fans that had come out to watch it. It was the first time, but it's just down the road. It's easier. And you're telling me there's not somewhere else that Liverpool can't find, but Everton are supporting their girls, so they'll move them back to the city. I've just got little questions about it, Jake. This is how it rolls on my show. People just pop up all the time. Do you think Liverpool will be good enough to come back again, or do you think they'll just keep sleeping? For me personally, and I'll let you speak, Jake, in a minute, I think they'll just keep sleeping. I think they've already taught that they might be part-time already. It's either going to give them that kick because it's going to be a big shock. Liverpool sent down, the men win the championship. I mean, it would have been fantastic if it had just all played out and it actually had finished like that, because people would have woke up and smelled the coffee and sort of put that pressure on them. The fact that it's going to be the FA sent us down, it's not fair. All this talk, they might just go, well, it's not our fault, kind of thing. What do you think, Jake? Do you think it's going to
So let's say the FA do relegate Liverpool, which is unlikely, but it could happen. The club is going to go absolutely mad at that. They might launch legal challenges. That's obviously looking at the extreme, but you never know what's going to happen when a decision like that is made. Will they bounce back? Again, it could go one of two ways. I think it'll definitely be a shock to the people at the club. But the question is, do they think, oh yeah, the women are rubbish, let's just focus on our champions, our amazing men? Or are they going to say, oh right, oh dear, Liverpool playing in the second tier? You'd think that would happen, but honestly, the way they've treated their girls, you don't know where their morals are. You don't know what they really think and believe of the team anymore. So it's hard to answer the question of whether they come back up.
I mean, like you just said, I mean, I'm not saying, but they furloughed all non-playing staff. I'm guessing the women were in that. They reversed that decision. When there is that pressure, we've seen it with ASC Filed. When there's that pressure, they change the decision. But with this decision, they could sort of wangle their way out and say, oh, we're going to launch legal and we're going to do this, like you've said, and then just sort of let it fester because it's someone, in a way, to blame. Oh, it's the FA sent us down. This is unfair, Whereas if it had played out, it would have been better. Jay, shouting out, Jay. He's a guy who's popped up on a few podcasts. Thanks for joining us, Jay. And I see you, John, as well, just joined. Thanks, everyone, for always joining. He's a Liverpool sympathiser. Inexperienced players, I do agree. But they've just lost Sweetman Kirk. But it's fairness, like you said, Jake, who's shown up and done a bit. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Sorry, Rachel Furness. Like I was before she joined Liverpool, I was a big sort of fan of her. Like I'd watched her for a while playing for Northern Ireland. She's the star of the national team, and obviously she started the season at Reading, went to Spurs on loan, I think it was, and suddenly joined Liverpool, which was a shock to us all. I really rate her as a player. And you can see how she's just uplifted that team. She's a class above her own teammates, and that really is saying something. But yeah, Liverpool. The comment there says, they've got loads of inexperienced young players. Hold on, this is the team that won the league in 2014. I think they might have won it in 2015 as well. Someone might have to correct me on that. But a few seasons ago, they won the league. They were the best team in the league. How we can go from that, and you look back at that team, like some Natasha Dowie, Lucy Bronze. I can't remember the rest of them.
Gemma Bonner was in it.
Gemma Bonner, there you go. Those three names alone just say how well Liverpool were doing a few years back.
I mean, they had Alex Greenwood, they had Katie Dillon, they had Siobhan was there.
They had Casey for a bit as well.
They had all these. They had Rambo, big up and coming. So big up and coming lioness. Nom was there, up and coming lioness. But we came in, and I mean, those girls obviously saw what we were doing. A lot of them were Manx anyway. But to take someone like Alex from a home club, and she comes to drop down, it says it all really about how they view their women's team.
No, it does. It really does. And it was great to see a lot of the players come over to us and show a bit of passion for us instead. But I just think if I was a Liverpool women fan, I'd be disgusted to go from the best team in the league to the worst in the space of 5 years. It's just, think about it in the men's league. Can you imagine if Liverpool City were dropped into a relegation fight? It just wouldn't happen. It's unimaginable. It really is.
John's just he's still listening. If you're listening, John, good to see you. But yep, I can't. You never hear the end of it, and it wouldn't be their fault because they think that I think they would go down anyway. I mean, the games they had it against us, Birmingham away, Birmingham at home. Yeah, you could say maybe they might have got points, but Birmingham just changed their manager. I thought they would have been like up and coming, even if Birmingham had got a point. They had Man City away or at home, but City would have beaten them. They had Spurs. I think Spurs would have won. The fairness did sort of breathe a bit of life into them, but West Ham just easily scored 4. It's only Furness who came back and sort of let them back in. Jay's sort of saying this now. Done better. I mean, you would have thought they would have realised when we took a lot of, like we just said, Alex, Siobhan, all those players left Liverpool and joined us. And I mean, think if it was happening now, if 5 players left Man United and joined, say, Man City, you would hear about it. You would hear about it. When Alex left for Lyon, people were surprised at the reaction. But then we reacted that way because we saw one of our best players leaving. So for them to you didn't hear anything really from any of their fans. And so you like to think, like, is it different people support the girls to the men? Is it that kind of thing? Whereas a lot of us just sort of support Man United. I don't know how, if you know anything about it, Jake, but...
Well, here's the thing. I am saying this as quite biased because I like women's football and everything, but I'd love to see just more supporters, like you and like a lot of the Barmy Army who support the men and the women equally. It'd just be nice. But in personal experience, I live round Liverpool way, and I know a lot of Liverpool fans, and not one of them supports the women. I just think it's a good reflection on the club. It's like they're there, but we don't care.
Yeah. And it's a shame because, like you said, they've won back to back, and maybe like you say, Torren's just saying there should open the club's eyes, but it won't. The club don't care enough, and potentially when you got your club putting out vibes like that, you're not going to attract fans over.
Exactly, that's not the way to go.
But I agree with Jay in this. Birmingham having bigger balls than Liverpool, I agree, because when they lost to Bristol, there was a real massive snapback online, and it was sack Martha. That was her name, wasn't it? Saka, yeah. And they ended up sacking her. I think, in a way, Vicky is lucky that she's still in the job. No offense to her, but yeah, if it was in the men's game and she had that record, she would have been gone. Birmingham made a decision. We're close to the relegation. We need to get rid of our manager. I think that would have injected a bit of life into them. But it's like what we're sort of saying. You saying about Villa, they're investing a lot more than Liverpool. You know, they were looking at getting their own stadium, not their own, but sharing a stadium with a bigger men's club, an actual all-seater stadium. You know, they were looking at, this is just from what I've heard, they were looking at like international players from abroad. Bringing them in full time. They already are partly full time, but that's the route that Villa want to go down. And then you see what Liverpool are doing. For me, it's only one way that they could have done. They have to really do this, because I think it's going to hold back potentially women's football by limiting a team like Villa.
I think the main clashes here is, do you want a big name so you can sell it to the sort of like the general public who aren't into women's football, or do you want competitiveness in the league? I know which one I want. I'd rather have Aston Villa come up and give us a good game rather than Liverpool be like the team that everyone beats. I'd rather have more competitiveness, because look, you go back to when Arsenal put 11 past Bristol. Okay, that was a bit of a one-off, but I'd rather have less of that. I want to have close games. I want this WSL to be the best women's league in the world, where there's competition, there's star players going for it. I don't want just one team to be like, oh, we're here, but we're not good enough.
Yeah. And I mean, I saw a question before, I think it's from a guy called Harry, who was just asking about Harvey. It was, what's our biggest attendance? And, we haven't played at Old Trafford yet. I don't think we should. I think we should wait until it's what Casey says, 5,000-6,000 are coming, Lee. I mean, like you said, you think people are going to start coming because we've not had women's football. I think when it's back, there'll be a big push for it. Like, it's the first game back. Everyone's excited to start the season again. Let's go. And you might, if you do see a 4,000, then the club might think, right, let's, there's that hunger, there's that interest. I mean, our biggest attendance has been like 4,000 or 5,000. It's just getting it regularly, and I think it will definitely come, and that's what you want to see. And with Liverpool, it's probably been declining regularly since they moved further away from the city. But I just think, in the interest of fairness as well, if you are going to do points per game, I'd do it all the way down the league. You know what I mean? I wouldn't just do it for the top two and just think about Champions League. I'd do it all the way down the league.
Yeah, it would only make sense, wouldn't it? Because it wouldn't be fair to like break the top two away and be like, oh yeah, you're special, you're your own thing. It's it's one league. Let's just go for it.
And I'm sure the top two. I mean, there's talk of Arsenal might put in a challenge, because I'm sure they would think, we can finish top two, we can finish Champions League. They might be worried about a bigger challenge that way than Liverpool. Yes, Liverpool might be overall a bigger club, but we know that Arsenal actually do support and put pressure on. They treat the women the same. That that's the sort of levels where we want to be at. So, you might see a challenge in that respect. What do you think? Do you think Arsenal will challenge? If
honestly, based on the performances this season, I don't want to sound harsh because Arsenal are a top quality team. I don't think they deserve Champions League football compared to Chelsea and City. Because in the games where those two played each other, I think Chelsea and City played out 2 draws. I'm not quite sure, but I know at least one of those 2 games were draw. Arsenal played both of them back to back at some point in the season, and they lost both games. And it just sort of they were a little bit those. I think Chelsea and City are just a little bit above Arsenal this season. And I think some of that as well is if we can just come on to Chelsea as well, they've not had the burden of Champions League football this season. And I think that's worked for them because obviously they were second in the league with a game in hand. They played exceptionally well. They had an unbeaten record as well. So maybe it was Champions League that have held Arsenal back a bit, but as I say, I don't think they should be in the top 2.
I agree. And there's, I don't know, there's, Chelsea have already made some signings. There's big talk of Man City signings. I'm not saying there's not big talk of Arsenal signings, but that's what you might see now. If they're third, we're fourth, we might overtake Arsenal. You never know. I can just see Jay sort of saying something. He's watching NWSL. He thinks the FA can do way better with refs. No, yeah, definitely. Commentary, broadcasting was unprofessional at times and maintaining pitches. Listen, Jay, I agree with what you're saying. I think we can do a lot better. Jay, what's your thoughts on, those array of things that he says need to improve?
Yeah, well, refs, we're all, there's no need to debate this. We're all on the same page when it comes to ref. It's disgusting in a way that a professional women's league is being given referees that can't tell a hand from a head, can't tell whether a ball's over the line, for example. It's really simple stuff. Let's leave that there. I could go on all night about it. Broadcasting, I'd like to see BBC and BT do more, definitely. Because they've both got the rights and they show one game each a weekend, which is only 2 out of 6, because it's 6 games on a match day for WSL team, of course. But then only 2 are being shown, and it just makes you think, why have you got the broadcasting rights if you're only going to show one game? So that'll be nice as well. And what else was said there? Is there anything else?
Maintaining pitches.
Oh, definitely. I touched on Tranmere's pitch before. Everton, I mean, they've moved now to a slightly better pitch, because Southport's pitch was very, very temperamental, you could say. 1 week it was fine, next it wasn't. Birmingham have had 1 or 2 matches called off as well. But it's about just giving the women's teams, it doesn't have to be a men's stadium. It doesn't have to be a big stadium. It just has to be a reliable pitch. It's not that hard. I mean, every other team, apart from the 3 I mentioned, have done it.
Definitely. Well, I know Phil Neville's come and talked about, teams like Reading. I mean, them moving to the Majeski is going to definitely help them always have games on. The pitch will be of a better quality probably than Wickham. Well, yes, highly likely than Wickham. It'll be of a good quality all the time. That'll be a lot better for them. But like you say, like Birmingham, Bristol, we've seen Birmingham's pitch. It was all right, but then you had a game called off. Bristol, I've not been there, but they were going a lot to Ashton Gate. I mean, maybe you might see them play a lot more games at Ashton Gate. See how Reading do. Move to Ashton Gate permanently. I know they're putting. There's a lot of young players at Bristol. Young Lioness players that sort of, not in a horrible way. I'm sure people will get upset now, but like use it as to showcase and shine a light. Ebony, point in case. But you might see. It'll be good to see them play regularly at maybe Ashton Gate and improve that way. I know Vincent's saying about Villa and their ground, but yeah, they're going to get a new ground, I think, so that they would have had a good pitch. What were you just going to say then, Jake?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Bristol. I feel sorry for them in some ways because they've got a good pitch at the moment, but it's not a stadium. It's a pitch. It's so Gifford is literally a pitch with a few sheds at the side. And moving into Ashton Gate would be quite good, actually. Again, like Reading, you're not going to fill it ever, but you're going to, maybe increase the attendances a bit more, moving it to the base of the club. They were going to, I think we were going to play them at Ashton Gate. They started the season there against Brighton, I think it was, on the opening day. So they have played at Ashton Gate before, and I think moving them there permanently would be a really good move.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's sort of a. I know. See, Jay's popped up. Imagine this one. Emma Hayes, Liverpool. What do you think? I think she would have walked out. To be honest, I don't even think she would still be there. Your opinions, Jay? What's that?
She'd walk in and she'd walk straight back out.
Yeah.
Look at Alice, she'd be like, nah.
Yeah,
get me back to London.
No chance. Well, talking about them, and I don't want to bash them. I mean, I know some of the girls that do their podcasts, so there is that fan base there. I just don't understand why, for me as a fan, what Shivy said when she left, it was the worst, this is the best she's ever treated at Man United. If I heard someone say that, if I heard one of our girls leave Man United and say, oh, I'm being treated better at Liverpool, oh my, you wouldn't hear the end of it, right? Casey said today, I'm always angry. I'm telling you, if any of my girls said anything like what Shivy said about Liverpool and about how no one cares and this, that, and the other, I won't be here speaking normally. Yeah. Yeah. We take the pole flags and go march on Old Trafford, and they know that. But that's why I don't understand why people are just sort of, Vicky's trying. Oh, and I'm not saying she's not trying, but there was an article from The Athletic, and the way they talked about them second-class citizens. I mean, I was angry when I saw Lotta say our gym's not big enough. I thought, well, you better move them into the cliff then. Hurry up. And that's just talking about a gym not being big enough. If anyone wrote an article about this badge and these girls and them not treating them well, they would hear about it. You know that things aren't going to be all the same because the money's not there, but you want them to be fed. You want them to have good kit, man. You want them to have strength and conditioning coaches. Come on, minimum.
It really is the basics as well when you think about it. And again, I hate to make this whole podcast about putting Liverpool down, but I bet the sides in the National League that treat the players better than Liverpool have, which speaks volumes.
Yeah, Watford are a good team, and I'm sure they would have put in a request to go into the Championship. That's a very good team there. Derby are treating their girls, they're up and coming. They want to put more money into it. I think why not have a team that, like we're saying about Villa, even Sheffield, that want to put that money in. Why, just because it's Liverpool and it's a name, they don't want to put money. They don't want to invest. Soon as they're saying Liverpool, but does he know? I'm sure he probably doesn't know that they're not really thingy. But if you then showed him that article from The Athletic and said, read this, now talk about it. Yeah?
I very much doubt that he could even name like more than one player from Liverpool women. Exactly. I think that just says enough. If he doesn't know about women's football, is he the right person to talk about it? I don't think so.
Exactly. But he's talking about it making money, and unfortunately, that's what I think. The FA are going to go down. What brings them the most money? What brings them the least headache? But I just think a team like Villa, I mean, I'm shouting it from the rooftops, should be coming up, and you can't not, and it might lead to 2 coming up, Sheffield, and I would be a bit happy about that. I'd be very happy for Sheffield girls and all that. I've been seeing them. They had Palmer there, they had Rambo, they had Molly, so that they've had even the girls before that. Nom's still there, so I'll be happy if they did bring up 2, but I think if we're talking fairness, what would they have done? How would they have saved Liverpool if we hadn't had COVID?
Exactly. It's a great point there. If the season had played out and Liverpool had gone down, there's not really excuses there, is there? And again, it's a case of, what if and why. And it would have been great for the season just to have played out, and maybe we could have been the ones to relegate Liverpool, with that rescheduled game in May. But it's not going to happen in the end, which is sad, really. But as well, I've got to say, you just feel like if they were ignored and not promoted, I think that's what wound me up the most, because again, as you say, they put the money in, they're really trying to recruit, they're trying to sign international players. They deserve a place in the top league. Do you want Liverpool, a big name, or do you want someone to compete? Because the longer Liverpool and teams as bad as Liverpool, because there are a few heading down that way, without mentioning names, if you want teams like that in the WSL, it's going to become more ridiculed by the people who dislike women's football. It's going to be seen as less serious, less professional than it is at the moment. It's just not going in the right direction, keeping them up.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, John's just saying little comments here. Premier League don't care about the players; it's to do with money. And this is about Vicky now saying stuff, but I don't think she can come out and say it. So instead, she starts to say stuff about us. But it would have been. I think we would have had a good time if we had all gone to Prenton Park in May. But unfortunately, COVID, unprecedented situation. I think you can't null and void it, because no one will get in the Champions League, and you want your English teams in Champions League, of course you do. So I don't think that'll be an option for me. And I heard Wardy say it on Sky Sports. It's ridiculous to say no relegation. I think you're just gonna you either do null and void or you do it properly, in my opinion, and sort of say, oh, well, we'll have a champion and all this, and this is the way the table finished, but they're not going down and promotion's not happening. It's ridiculous. Jay knows, mate. Jay was saying it the other day on the thing. Jay, I want to see you on Sunday, mate. Get your camera ready. Definitely Sunday socials. Jake, I'm guessing I'm going to see you on the Sunday socials.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Just get into either my DMs or whatever, or get into Barmy Army's DMs, or get into anyone, that a part of thing. If when you see the pictures coming up, even before 2:00 on Sunday, let's just chat. Let's continue this chat. I think for me, it's got to be, we're both sort of saying points per game, get them all, get it sorted. But next week I'll be on with someone new. Thanks a lot, Jake, for first coming on your first Naughty Natty TV.
Yeah.
I hope it was nice to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully I can come back again soon, give some more opinions out.
Yeah, definitely we'll have to do it. We might see soon names of who's going. I don't even want to get into this at the minute, but I'm guessing maybe next week we might know a bit more about what we're doing next season and what our team's shaping up to be. So definitely I'll get people on to talk about that. But yeah, everyone just look after each other, stay safe, social distancing. It's starting to ease, but let's just keep the virus under control. David Pritz giving you a little shout out there.
Thanks,
Done
Dave.
well, my lad. Done well, my kid. Thank you, John, as well. Always there. I'll speak to you. Hopefully, I see everyone in these comments. I see 10 people watching, so hopefully, I see you all on Sunday. Get into it. Sunday social. It was a really good thing. See everyone next week, Thursday, 7 p.m. Naughty Natty TV, MU Women Podcast. Thanks, Jake. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.